What's up, guys? Dan Matheny here. It's been a while since I've done a video. It's not any kind of fancy Linux video. Of course, I'll eventually open up OBS and you'll see me on a desktop again. But right now I'm just kind of chilling. But there is a new OS in town for 2023 that I've been using, recently. And that's Void Linux. Now, there's a lot of reasons why I like Void Linux. Sure, I could go back in time when I'm a misfit outcast, whatever you want to call it. Kind of like, I could talk to the jocks, I could talk to the freaks, I could talk to the geeks, I could talk to everybody because I was athletic, but I liked, you know, technology and stuff, and I still do. I still like sports, but I'm not actively looking at teams anymore or looking at athletics because to me it's too much about money and not about the pride of winning like it used to be. But in a sense, software is changing too. Everything's kind of integrating flat packs, and that's what I like about what I use because for my wife who likes to use Google Chrome, I have that installed for her through Flatpaks. So I'm doing it. Because window managers and stuff like that, it's not really a thing of the past, but the architecture is changing right now. So a lot of things that are still getting updated is getting updated by an old protocol, by an old piece of software, Xorg. A lot of software is still being written around that, but a lot of that is changing right now. But in order to combat that, I just stay up to date with everything. Um, I've been using Debian Arch and FreeBSD for a long time, but for me it's just changed so much to where a lot of things are whatever. But with Void, what's cool about it is it takes a piece of everything and it just kind of the init system and everything, and it just comes together nice. It just runs nice. Should I get my laptop? Maybe. Will I show my rise of Void Linux with XFCE? Maybe, but there's no point. There has to be a point to a video form. With all these things that people are making videos about, I could make a video about Void Linux, how to install it, but you already have that. You already have videos on how to do that. From Mental Outlaw to this one person I saw today. I kind of just glanced at the video and I just was like, okay, boom, boom, boom. Because I would read the man pages so much, but then I'd forget. So, you know, there's a lot of information that you're going to learn, but you're going to forget about it because there's so much information and you're going to make mistakes again on something you already knew because that piece of software had changed. So that's why it's important to stay up to date, and I can't stay up to date with everything. There's just too much now. There's too much to look at, to focus on, to think about. It's overwhelming. It's overstimulating in a sense because there's so much software, so many desktop environments, so many window managers. It's crazy, especially with Wayland coming out and becoming more popular. There's Hyperland. I've heard there's someone here locally in town that actually is a Linux user, and that's cool. That's really cool. I don't get into names or anything, but basically, I think what I like so much about this is like I know there's people like me out there that just didn't quite fit in anywhere, but they're like a Linux user. I know that you guys are out there, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, I think with this piece of software that I'm using right now, Void Linux, it's pretty good. It's pretty stable. They fixed all the bugs. Before when I would play around with it, I'd have problems, but now I haven't. But with the other things that I've been using lately, like Arch Linux, since everything's just kind of moving to Flatpak, you know, that brings me to GZ Doom, or the Doom, a Doom engine that plays Doom, right? Now, I used to be able to install it in the AUR fine, and I'm sure I can manually install these packages, and I know I can. I just don't feel like going through all that effort to do something where it's like I can just install it. And that's what's cool about Void Linux, right? They have GZ Doom available 4.10, which is the latest version of that piece of software, and it runs great in Void Linux. Void Linux does run things good, but at the same time, there's things that are going to break. And that's the thing with Linux too, people. Things are going to break. It's not going to work out perfectly. You have to take the time to read the manuals and fix it. It's not just going to pop it and say, yeah, it's working. No. No. It's not like Ubuntu where you just put in the USB stick drive, and I'm guilty of using that. But I think as someone that likes to mess around with software, Void, I think, is becoming my new favorite. And maybe I'm speaking too soon, but there's something about it that I like. It just works for me, because I like the simple boot up. I don't like anything complex. Just the simple boot up. I could have put together a desktop myself. I've even gotten lazy. Now I'll just boot into the live environment and install from the live environment because I can. Because it's already there. It's already available. It's a lot of stuff that I would already install anyway. And maybe I'm just a little bit like whatever. Maybe I've just become more practical in time, but and people aren't going to like it when I say this. But if you have more than 16 gigs of memory, you don't need to run a window manager. You don't. If you have 8 gigs of RAM, you should run a window manager because you really don't have a lot of RAM. Like if you want to run Kden Live in your browser, 2 separate windows, you can do that easier in a window manager, especially like DWI, my favorite window manager. And that's my favorite window manager, right? I should be using it. But like I said, a lot of things I could find myself fine in any environment really at this point because of how much I've used it, how much I've used the software. So I may not know all the key terms off the top of my head, but I can go to the man page, find it, do it. Because that's how I roll. I don't always retain all the information that I have. Like with FreeBSD, I've retained a lot of that information because I repetitively did it over and over and over and over and over. I messed up over and over and over and over and over again and again and again until I got it. And sometimes that's what it is. With FreeBSD, I actually take the time to, correct some things, especially in make packages and stuff like that. I got to get the trash. So I'm going to get the trash. Not that I'm doing a video. Get to see me do the trash. Now I'm back. All right. Now I'm back. Now, like I said, you need a point to do a video, and if people are already doing videos on stuff that I've already discovered, I feel like there's no need to. You know what I mean? You can hear my perspective all you want. But that's why I just do talks, because a lot of these things people are already doing, talking about, especially with Wayland. I'm sure there is. I'm sure if I go on YouTube right now and look it up, I can find it and I can do it. But I feel like with software, it's always going to be a changing thing. It could be Void today, something else tomorrow, because I think that there's an interest with it. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just interested in how things work, but I don't know what direction to go in. But I know with Void, I like it because I always felt like an outcast, even though I know I'm not. There's people around me that care about me and whatnot, but it's just the name. It's just the name Void Linux. Void. You can't avoid the void. You always feel that pit in your stomach. When you're by yourself, when you're not feeling good, you feel that void. There's a lot of times I feel that void in life. I think that's why I like it. But yeah, people can't make you happy. But maybe software can. Software makes me happy. So do musical instruments. So do other things. But, you get the gist of what I'm saying, people. You're going to have to be flexible in this ever-changing landscape for software right now. And, GZ Doom, that could stop being made. That would break my heart. Gosh, that would break my heart. But I don't know what else to say other than try Void Linux. It may be your thing. It's a good mix for me because flat packs are available, and I've been using flat packs. It's so easy to install. Just on whatever distribution, it's easy. You just put it in there. Flat packs are awesome. I can use the ridiculous Google Chrome. My wife can use it. Sometimes I use it, but not very much. I have like one bookmark saved for like sounds and sound effects and stuff through a public domain page whenever I need that. So I actually like using that for that reason. Google Chrome does work good. It's just not. It's just yeah. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems everywhere, and also it's just you don't really have a lot of privacy. But you really don't have privacy anymore, people. That's another thing I love. That I've realized. Well, you have these smartphones. The smartphone that I'm recording this video on, they can see and hear what you're doing. You really have no privacy on your smartphone anyway. So you're really not going to have much privacy on a web browser unless you're using OpenBSD and you're critiquing it, modifying it to your liking to have complete private browsing. But still, there's that IP address. There's your home address where you connect to your Wi-Fi. There's a lot of ways that people can get your information. So all I recommend is a really long password that no one else can remember or understand or get. And that's what I do. Okay, so that's why no one hacks into my stuff, because I have a really long password. It's more than 16 characters long, so that ain't gonna matter. And it really is. It's a long freaking password. But I have it memorized, and I don't have it written down. And that's what I recommend. Don't write down your passwords. There's a lot of good practices that I know that I do. I just can't explain them well, and I don't care. Because a lot of you guys can figure this stuff out. If you want to. My opinion, my view. But, you get two options with Void Linux. You get XFCE, and you get the base install. I've done the base install before. I was going to do it, but I decided I like XFCE. It's one of my favorite desktop environments, so I may as well just go with it because I hadn't gone with the live XFCE version ever. I just went with the base install, which I was fine. I even put together a desktop environment and stuff. I got more trash that I got to take. I love helping my wife. I love my wife very much, by the way. But see, that's the thing. I caught it too. Didn't see that on camera, but I caught it. This was falling down because it wasn't going into the can. But yeah, it's getting sunny out. But yeah, with Void, there's a lot of awesome things about it. You could install it with XFCE, smooth ride. I don't think you'd really have many problems if you installed something like KDE or GNOME on it, but there's a lot of dependencies that are now going towards Wayland, and you really have to make sure all your run-it dependencies are matching with what you're doing to a degree. I mean, I could be wrong with what I'm saying, and I'm going to be honest. I'm not the smartest or the most, informative person in the world when it comes to words. But when you put together a desktop environments like that, you gotta, especially with something like Void, it's kind of tricky because I think KDE is a better choice because you got Discover. So let's just say, this is my idea. You could use Void Linux with KDE. Let's just say you really love KDE, and I do. I love KDE. KDE and XFCE are my two favorite desktop environments, out of regular desktop environments. You're going to have to understand that some things may crash, some things may freeze, and that's what I had a problem with Debian recently with KDE. Because, certain technologies are still new. Wayland is still new. So it may be iffy on the type of desktop environment you decide to use with Void. Just because, Wayland, I've heard of Wayland working pretty good in FreeBSD I haven't tried it in FreeBSD yet. That's one thing. There's things that I haven't done yet that I can do, that I've seen people do. I don't know if I've seen Wayland on FreeBSD with a video. Hey, Robonoogie, if you're watching, you should totally do that. What's Wayland like on FreeBSD? That would be a good video. Or how to set up Wayland in FreeBSD. And I could do that too. I could do it on my machine. I'll just need to set up a VirtualBox, do that. But I haven't even set up a VirtualBox before. I've never done that. I should do that. There are things that I haven't done like that. So, but I probably should at some point. But I don't make a lot of videos much anymore because I'm working, family. There's just a lot going on, so I don't always have time to make videos. But I decided to make a video today just because I love the Void Linux concept. I love the software. It runs pretty good. It's pretty smooth. I mean, it's probably going to be something I come across where there's a problem, but I know I can fix it because I've been through this so many times. It's like fixing one computer after another. I had a lot of experience with that, but I did have some experiences where I totally screwed up, but that's okay, you know. But anyway, the idea is Flatpaks, Void Linux, perfect. Flatpaks work good. Everything works the way it's supposed to. But anyway, that's going to be it for now. Take care. Peace.